All right, guys, happy Tuesday. Let me get resituated. Sorry, zoomed in on my face. Okay, let's get started. This week, like I told you yesterday, I'm going to be pretty hands off. I'm going to let you guys kind of just like investigate the rest of this novel on your own. But we are going to go through quickly in here and practice some of today we're going to be doing inferences, so there's going to be a little bit of practice, but then later on in this week, it's pretty much just going to be like, are you understanding what's happening in the story? Because it gets pretty complicated and interesting, and a lot of thoughts that I'm sure you're going to be having on like, could I live in a world like this, or is our world similar to this world? Like, what's happening? Okay, so it gets really juicy and cool. Okay, so let's take a look at our quick rate for today. What would life be like without pain? Do you think it's important to experience pain, or should pain not exist? But I want you to explain why. And then, do you think love and pain go together? So with pain, without pain, there couldn't be love, or without love, then like pain wouldn't exist. Okay, all those things. So can you have one without the other? And then I'm going to keep on going. And remember, you can always pause the video and answer the questions and then come back to the video, okay? So your aim is answer inferential and critical thinking questions about the giver. So let's take a look at how we make inferences. Remember, we used to do facts plus background knowledge equals inference, okay? I want it to be a little bit juicier than that in 7th and 8th grade. More of what we say is that it's a conclusion that is reached based on text evidence and reasoning. Very similar to facts and background knowledge. That background knowledge is your reasoning piece. And then obviously the facts are the text evidence. You have to have both together. If you're not putting both together, you're not going to get that answer correct, because you're either going to be using too much text evidence or too much background knowledge, and it's not going to match the story. You have to use both together. So inferences are not found directly in the text. You must use what you already know, plus the evidence to find an answer. If you leave out one of these pieces, your answer is not going to be correct. Then some common words that you're going to hear and you're going to see on here, and then also with like IAs and things like that, especially going into 8th grade and in high school, you're going to be seeing conclude, reason, interpret. What can you interpret about this or about this character? What can you conclude about this event? It's basically just saying, hey, make an inference on what happened, which remember is like an evidence-based guess kind of, because it's not right in the text. So what can you figure out based on the text? So here is question or practice 1, which is my model. And then I'll read practice 2, and then you're going to do it with the giver. So here we go. Matt was finishing up the last few bites of his snack when his mom got home from work. She asked him how his day was, and then she said, "Get your homework finished quickly, because we have been invited to Aunt Sarah's house for dinner. I told her I would bring the rest of the cake that we did not eat on Sunday." Matt's eyes widened, and he looked at the empty snack plate before him. Draw a conclusion about why Matt's eyes widened with that last sentence. Why did his eyes get big? So A, he was full and didn't want to eat the rest of the cake. B, he had eaten the cake as a snack. C, he hated going to Aunt Sarah's house. D, he was embarrassed that they didn't finish the cake on Sunday. In my head, remember, I'm always thinking, what can I eliminate right off the bat? So right off the bat, I know he hated going to Aunt Sarah's house. There's no evidence at all based on that. And even background knowledge, there's nothing in there that tells me, oh, this tells me he doesn't like his Aunt Sarah. So I can get rid of C. He was embarrassed they didn't finish the cake on Sunday. Again, no evidence supports answer D. So I can get rid of C and D right away. Now I'm looking at A and B. So his eyes widened and he looked at the empty snack plate before him. What was the cake on? The cake was on that snack plate. So he clearly had eaten it, right? No evidence says that he was full. And no evidence that he actually ate the cake, right? We are making an evidence-based guess on that he has an empty plate. I know from my background knowledge, if there's an empty plate and my eyes widen after someone says something, I'm like, oh no. Okay, so I'm putting those two things together, and it tells me that B, he had eaten the cake as a snack. Now, what piece of evidence best supports this inference? Mrs. Martin's thinking. After Mom talks about bringing the leftover cake, Matt's eyes widen. The text then says he looked at the empty snack plate before him. I know that he ate all the cake, and that's why the snack plate is empty. So they cannot bring the leftover cake. Okay, pause. Okay, now for practice number 2 for we do. Let's take a look at it. One Friday night, Ben planned to go to a movie with Jane and Bob. It was the newest action movie, and he had wanted to see it for several weeks. Friday afternoon, Ben went to the store. He picked out a candy bar and realized he didn't have any money with him. He stuck the candy bar in his pocket, turned to leave the store, and was stopped by the store manager. "Let's go call your parents, young man," said the manager. You can infer that. So again, now our question is different. The question before was draw a conclusion. Now it's just what can you infer? Meaning the same thing. Jim enjoyed the candy at the movies. Jim's parents didn't let him go to the movies. Jim didn't get in any trouble, or Jim didn't mean to steal the candy bar. What can we infer? I know one that we can get rid of. One that we can get rid of was C, Jim didn't get in any trouble, right? We can get rid of that one. The store manager is going to call his parents. In our head, we know if you just got caught stealing something, your parents are you're probably going to get in trouble, right? He's already getting in trouble by the store manager. So what I want you to do is you highlight or bold the answer here. And then you can underline or you can type in or write your piece of evidence on the side. Let's go down and take a look at practice number 3, the independent, okay? So here are your chapters 14 through 16. The link is there, and then the YouTube is there to listen to it. Remember, answer the quick jot or review skill questions. When you learn about a new character, write information about them. At the end of the chapter, stop and write a gist, and answer comprehension questions that you might see. Over on the left-hand side, you can see that there's like chapter 14, 15, 16, so you know where to look. So your first one is, how does Jonas feel about receiving these painful memories? Jonas feels blank, and then what piece of evidence do you have? Why does Jonas want to apply to change the rules? And then chapter 15, the giver gives Jonas a painful memory of war. At the end of the chapter, why does the giver ask Jonas to forgive him? Especially that one is important because remember, the giver at the beginning when he met Jonas was like, don't apologize. Like, we don't apologize for things. Remember, they're kind of like robotic with, oh, I asked for you, I want to apologize for a blank. And then they're like, we accept your apology. Okay, they have strict language. So the giver is like, do not use that here. Okay, we don't apologize. You need to ask questions. You're allowed to lie, all that kind of stuff. So why does he then kind of break his own rule and ask Jonas to forgive him? And then chapter 16, why doesn't Jonas want to go back? And why don't they talk about love? Do they know what love is? And that's going to be more about the family unit. Your exit ticket is some inferential questions. So go there, make sure you hit submit. Okay, and that's it. Have a great Tuesday. Bye, guys.